The following is a review for critical, analytical, and educational purposes only, and is protected under Article 17 and 107 in the United States Fair Use Code. This video is not an infringement on copyright. Please enjoy the video.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Trilbee, and now you see me.
Look closely, because the closer you think you are, the less you'll actually see.
I won't lie, I've been looking forward to this movie since it was first announced. I mean, how could I not? It's got the director of my favourite pre-Avengers Marvel movie, The Incredible Hulk, directed by Louis Leterrier. It's got one of the writers of the first Men in Black, and it's got every awesome actor who has ever lived. And the premise? Robin Hood. If he was in the present day, if there was a group of them, if they were magicians. How could I not be excited for a premise like that? But the fact that it's been released in America for about a month and a half has made the wait here for us in the UK even more difficult. But now it's finally been released here, I can now finally talk about Now You See Me. Now You See Me was released on May 31st, 2013 in the US and on July 3rd, 2013 in the UK. It was distributed by Summit Entertainment and developed by KO Paper Pictures. It was directed by Louis Leterrier, produced by Bobby Cohen, Alex Kurtzman, and Roberto Orci. Its screenplay was written by Ed Solomon, Boaz Yakin, and Edward Recor, with a story by Boaz and Edward. It stars Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Ruffalo, Woody Harrelson, Melanie Laurent, Isla Fisher, Dave Franco, Michael Caine, and Morgan Freeman. It has a runtime of 115 minutes, is rated 12A, and has a production budget of $75 million. Despite not even being released worldwide yet, the movie, at time of writing, has grossed more than twice its budget, with $154 million at the box office. It has been considered one of the biggest sleeper hits in the US this year. So, does this movie deliver? Hell yeah it does. Well, for the most part.
The plot involves 4 street magicians who are brought together by some unseen benefactor to put together elaborate, crowd-pleasing magic shows. The first of these shows has the group in Las Vegas, now dubbed the Four Horsemen, robbing a bank of over €3 million in France, giving the money to the audience. These obviously illegal actions get the attention of Agent Dylan Rhodes, played by Mark Ruffalo, but since he can't exactly arrest them for a magic trick, he needs to discover how they did the trick and stop the Four Horsemen from robbing more banks and companies during their shows.
It's an awesome premise, and this movie has a fantastic first act, which makes it very clear to the audience that this isn't our version of reality. Now You See Me sort of takes place in a hypercharged reality, where it makes it very apparent that magic is a real thing. Yes, there is such a thing as sleight of hand, distraction, and slight rigging of the system, but for the most part, a lot of the magic tricks in this movie are real magic.
Our 4 main cast members run the gamut of contemporary magic performers. Jesse Eisenberg is the elaborate showboater, Woody Harrelson is the mentalist, Isla Fisher is the escape artist, and Dave Franco is the street magician and pickpocket. And naturally, when these 4 different personalities come together in the same room, they clash instantly in very funny ways. The script is also a lot of fun with great dialogue and some very quotable insults, but because our 4 leads have such great chemistry together, it comes across as a group of friends having a joke instead of anything mean-spirited, which means it's easy to fall in love with the Four Horsemen. Jesse Eisenberg is perfectly cast as he's pretty much playing his character from The Social Network, and Woody Harrelson just steals the show and gets the funniest lines in the flick.
Mark Ruffalo is great as the agent tasked with bringing the Four Horsemen down, and he's really easy to sympathise with despite the fact that he is essentially a comedic foil, because he's trying so hard to bring these people down, and at the end of the day he is just doing his job.
Melanie Laurent also plays his police assistant, and she's great in the role and is the true brains of the operation.
By the way, did I mention that this movie has some great female characters? Yeah, Isla Fisher and Melanie Laurent are just really great characters and personalities in this movie. Sure, it doesn't technically pass the Bechdel test because the 2 characters never actually interact with each other, but they are very memorable and they are very strong characters.
And it was awesome how Melanie's character was just a smart assistant and not a shoehorned love interest, until the end where it just comes out of nowhere and it feels really contrived. What really makes Now You See Me such a compelling watch, however, is just how great the structure is and the mystery surrounding the plot. The audience sees the trick and it's so well done that you do wonder how the hell did they do that. Mark Ruffalo is the cipher for the audience as he's viewing things from the outside and wants to know how they robbed these banks just as much as we do, and the editing is in such a way that we're just out of reach of knowing what is happening for just a few more seconds, creating a great edge of your seat experience that I was fascinated by.
Thankfully, Morgan Freeman is on hand as Thaddeus Bradley. Now, Thaddeus is somebody who exploits magicians, who pretty much exposes their secrets behind their tricks in order to essentially ruin them. And this guy has a lot of expositional speeches detailing how these tricks were done. And it's really good that they did get somebody as charismatic and charming as Morgan Freeman to have these long monologues, otherwise it would have been really, really boring. But thankfully they did cast him, and they're not boring. In fact, they're really, really exciting.
It's a great carrot on a stick scenario, where you keep chasing the mystery, but it just seems out of reach. The story takes some genuinely unpredictable turns later on, making for a really smart plot, until the ending.
Now, I'm not going to give the actual ending of the movie away, but if you want to completely avoid spoilers, then skip to this portion of the video. Okay? Right, you have been warned. Now, the biggest mystery of the movie is who is the mysterious benefactor who brought the four horsemen together and is asking them to do these tricks. And when it's finally revealed, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't make sense. And yeah, I didn't see it coming, but that's because it's such a nonsensical twist that of course I wouldn't see it coming. It doesn't make sense. And the more you think about it, the more this twist actually detracts from the rest of the movie. It's like a twist ending that's trying really, really hard to be smart for the sake of being smart, but it hasn't figured out any of the logistics to make that twist work. The motivations of the character make sense in the end, but the way the character was acting throughout the entire movie, no, it just doesn't work. Now, I don't want to sound pompous here or self-entitled, but I am a firm believer in the fact that there is such a thing as objectively bad. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for respecting other people's opinions, but I do feel like, based on the very principles of filmmaking, that there is such a thing as bad quality. Now, this movie is objectively bad. So is this movie. John Harrison in Star Trek Into Darkness objectively doesn't work, and neither does this twist.
I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed by the ending, because I was having such a great time with Now You See Me before that twist. The movie has so much energy, the action is incredibly inventive and so much fun, especially the fight between Ruffalo and Franco, where the latter uses magical abilities to stave him off. The camera work is great, but this is Louis Leterrier we're talking about. Some people may find the sweeping shots a bit too much, but I personally loved the spectacle and the detail that was crammed into the frames, as well as the really inventive use of CG.
Now, I'm really glad that this movie has become a sleeper hit in the US, because Louis Leterrier really is a great director, and he deserves all of the success he gets and more.
The movie does, however, feel quite long. It is 115 minutes, and towards the last 20 minutes there were many people in my screening checking their watches and their phones for the time, and I did feel like the film really should have been wrapping up at that point. But it really was the mystery that was keeping me going. Also, the music by Brian Tyler wasn't really all that good. It wasn't a bad score, just not very memorable. So overall, Now You See Me is a fun, smart, and incredibly engaging piece of escapism that offers something very different for those who are growing tired of CG-heavy blockbusters and want something with a bit more intrigue. If you like the premise, see the movie. If you like any of the actors, then see the movie. But if you're the type of person who needs everything to make sense, then you will leave disappointed. Really, it's the final 20 minutes with a shoehorned love story, a poorly executed twist, and a long-winded conclusion that really lets this movie down, so I doubt it will stand up to multiple viewings. As a result, despite really enjoying the movie, I have no choice but to give it this rating. Now you see this 4 stars? Now you don't, as it's now 3.5 stars out of 5.
Really, it was that lackluster ending that just proceeded to bring the entire movie down, which is an absolute shame because everything leading up to there was really entertaining and fantastic stuff. Now, the movie has been out in the UK for about a day or two, so if you're in the UK, then I do recommend that you go see the movie. But it's been in the US for about a month and a half, so I don't know if it's still showing there. If it's not and you haven't seen it yet, then be sure to check it out when it comes out on Blu-ray, because I think it would make for a really great Blu-ray experience. I mean, the film does look fantastic, so it would look great in HD on a really big screen. Now, that's all from me. Have you seen Now You See Me? Did its twist ending detract for you as well, or were you able to overlook it, or maybe you didn't enjoy any of the movie? No matter what your thoughts, be sure to let me know in the comments section below, and while you're down there, be sure to hit that like button, because it really helps me out, it really shares these videos around, and be sure to subscribe so you can keep updated for future movie reviews. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Trilbee Reviews, and be sure to like my Facebook page, Trilbee Reviews. You'll find those links in the description below. My name is Trilbee, and I shall see you guys next time.